Hi, everybody. It's Olivia with Freedom at the Mat. It is the month of March. We are still celebrating International Women's History Month. And being a brand that is focused on making wellness accessible to all women, I am really excited to be in conversation with a woman who is, to me, a legend in this industry. She is creating space for so many Black women to heal and to be healed, and Black people, not just Black women, Black people, and all people. Dr. Joy Harden Bradford is a licensed clinical psychologist, but she's also the creator and the founder of Therapy for Black Girls. And so many women are finding a path to their healing and their wellness through what Dr. Joy Harden Bradford has created. So she's someone that I significantly respect and admire for her courage to go somewhere no one else has gone. Dr. Joy, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for such a beautiful introduction, Olivia.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, Dr. Joy, I know that you are a very busy woman with so many different initiatives. So, thank you for being here today. What I want to explore with you is really just a few things. One, what was your catalyst for launching Therapy for Black Girls?
I think the catalyst directly was watching the Black Girls Rock Award show on BET in 2014, I believe. And it felt so like such incredible energy even through the TV screen, right? It was like all these sisters celebrating with one another, celebrating one another, and it just felt like so cool. And I thought, wow, it would be really great if I could capture some of the same energy for Black women as it relates to mental health. And so I jumped on GoDaddy and purchased the domain and started blogging under the Therapy for Black Girls website. But it's interesting when I look back, even prior to 2014, I had already been running groups for Black women on college campuses. And so I feel like Therapy for Black Girls kind of was a thing before I even ever came up with the name because it's always been really important for me to create spaces for Black women to come together to talk about how they're doing and to get support from one another.
Beautiful. Now, why is mental health so important to you? How long have you been working in the field? You started TBG in
Mhm.
2014, but when did you get started in the industry and why?
Yeah, I think, when I think about like little girl joy, so much of who I am was cultivated by like days and nights on the porch with my grandmother, just
Mhm,
people watching. And I
mhm.
think that I have always been very curious about human behavior and like, why do people do the things they do? And just observing people from my grandmother's front porch. And so I think I had the opportunity to take a psychology class in high school. And so then I realized there was a name for like this people watching that I was doing, right? Like that there is actually a whole field dedicated to why humans do the things that we do. And so once I found that that was what that was, I knew that that's what I wanted to further explore. In 1996, when I started college, so I was a psychology major. So I have kind of been on this path related to mental health really since then. But I graduated grad school in 2006, and
Uh,
I've always had a specific focus on Black women's mental
and
health.
so, Dr. Joy, wellness,
Mhm.
right? It is a very broad topic that has become very popular very recently, like over the past 5 years. It has just blown up. It
Mhm.
is reported by the Global Wellness Institute that this is a $4.3 trillion
Mm.
industry. For Black people, I'm concerned about us getting the healing and the wholeness and the wellness that we need. So, my final two questions for you are number one, what does wellness really mean for you? How do you define wellness?
Yeah, so that figure I think that you have shared, Olivia, is like both exciting and concerning to me as well. Because when I think about wellness, like I think about all the things that we need to feel or that I need to feel restored, fulfilled, satisfied, happy, connected. Like I think that those are the things that really encapsulate wellness. And largely, I don't think that those things cost money, right? And so when I hear that this is like such a huge, so much money is pouring into this space, I really feel like it's concerning. And I think we have to be careful around the ways that wellness has been commodified, that it
Yes.
is something that we need to buy to have. When, again, sitting on the porch with my grandmothers or listening to my aunties talk about, whatever, like all of that was free, right? So connection is free. Taking care of ourselves and being connected with one another doesn't typically cost. Now if you want to do a girls trip, of course that will cost, but
Right.
getting on a Zoom or sitting on somebody's brunch patio, like typically those are lower cost or no cost things that you can do. And so I do think we have to be mindful that we don't have to buy into wellness. Like wellness is something that is inherently ours. And if we think about historically, there are ways that we have been healing one another and healing our communities that didn't cost anything. And so I think it is important for us to really think about our lineage in this world and to really kind of reclaim some of those strategies and to think about how healing has been a part of our communities before we ever had today's language to describe it.
Absolutely. But with Therapy for Black Girls, you're doing some incredible things with your movement with us. What do you want to see for Black women as it relates to mental health and healing?
I really feel like I am feeling very energized right now around groups. So group therapy, just us coming together, I think as Black women tend to do. I think we tend to think about that as like more of a social thing, but I think we often miss the healing that happens when we are connecting and gathering with our sisters. And so I'm currently writing my first book called Sisterhood Heals that really is all about, how we have provided healing spaces for one another and how I would like for us to continue to do that and do a better job of it. And so I'm hoping to kind of continue to talk about group therapy, peer support groups, other kinds of support groups that can be really healing spaces that aren't necessarily individual therapy if that's not something that you're interested in. Because therapy is great. And, I'm clearly a huge proponent, but therapy may not be for everyone. And it is definitely not accessible to everyone. But I think that there are other ways that we can heal, and groups, I think, are a primary way to do that. So
What do you say for those of us, Dr. Joy, who are uncomfortable with group therapy, who have shame, who have trust issues? Do you have any recommendations for how we can go about either one of two things, choosing a group or letting go of our individual shame so that we can show up and be okay being in that context?
Mhm. So I think first, Olivia, it's really important for us to pay attention to when we have any kind of response like fear or shame or like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to do that, because that is telling us something, right? Like our feelings are messengers. And so it's important for us to pay attention to like, oh, why am I feeling this shame? Or what is this shame trying to tell me? And so I want you to know that it's perfectly okay if you feel uncomfortable about a group. Like it's not necessarily the most like familiar place, right? Like to walk into a group of strangers and tell people things that maybe you haven't shared in other places, but it is also incredibly healing. And so I think being able to go to a group and say, I feel really nervous and I don't know if I want to share anything with y'all,
Yeah.
that's okay, right? In a healthy group, we can hear that from you and then give you space to get comfortable with everybody and share on your own terms. I think that that's actually a very good exercise in boundary setting to allow yourself to get comfortable in a space before you share whatever it is that you're hoping to share.
And so, Dr. Joy, can we go to therapyforblackgirls.com, look at the directory that's there, which I go to all the time when any of my friends in Memphis or Chicago, or literally, I'm like, I go there first, right? But
Right.
if we go to your directory, can we find different therapists that offer group therapy? How can we find a group therapist?
Yeah, you definitely can find that. So right now you would just have to look at, individual therapists in your area to see if they offer groups. We
Okay.
are making some updates to the directory as we speak.
Okay.
And so we do hope to make it easier for you to find groups in your area.
Beautiful. And then finally, you dropped it off. What's up with this book? When's it coming out? What's the title? How can we support? What's up?
Yes, absolutely. So the book is scheduled to come out in the summer of 2023.
Okay.
And like I said, the working title, at least right now, is Sisterhood Heals.
Beautiful. Well, we'll be here for the journey. We can't wait for it to come out. However, we can support you. You know that you just count us all the way in there. Book giveaways, everything. We got you.
Would love that.
Dr. Joe, we appreciate you and we love you. We value you. And everyone has the opportunity to create change in this world. And I just honor you. And I'm so grateful to have encountered you in my lifetime. And I know that there are legions of other women who feel the exact same way because the work you're doing is truly life altering and you're saving lives with the work that you're doing. So may God continue to bless you and inspire you with the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate you, Olivia.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.